Welcome to Grab Load. We have had Intel launching their Ultra processors for Air Lake on the desktop here, and my thoughts are I'm gonna go through some of my thoughts on these. As you can't really see here, but I'm wearing an Intel shirt today. It's the Level Up Intel shirt. It says Level Up with Intel, and these processors do not. Um, replicate what the shirt says. They're not a level up over the 14th and 13th gen. Now the 13th and 14th gen have had their issues here, and at this point I need to see a little bit more from these. I'm hoping that with some of Intel's updates, maybe with microcode and stuff, some of these other issues are ironed out that reviewers had, either with blue screens or installing Windows or any of that stuff. Gaming performance issues where they're at. I'm hoping updates and this kind of solves it. I can kind of see where Intel's going with some of this. I'm hoping that this is a stepping stone to something more performant in the future, right? They're going to a tile architecture finally. They're getting glued together chips. Intel, which was very down at AMD about that, now is doing the exact same thing, which is just funny. It's funny for me, but maybe not so much for Intel. But they do have a price here. Of the Ultra 9 is $589, so that's their high end, and it really just didn't go and swing for the fences where it needed to go to for these chips against AMD, especially in gaming. If you're going and doing, productivity work, I I still can't, recommend this, but I can say that, if you're going for something like this, I think that there is some performance options there to be had if you want to use these in productivity. But with all the other issues around this, I really wouldn't use this as a processor current in its current state, right? And maybe they come out with some of these, updates, and all of a sudden make this a better platform and a better, stack of processors, and then that could be a change recommendation at that time. But right now, if you're looking for a gaming processor, I'm looking at it here as if I'm still kind of out. You can maybe go 12th gen if the price is right, um, or from Intel. Otherwise, it's really the 5700X3D and it's the 7800X3D. We'll see where the 9800X3D sits here soon. There's also the 7600X3D if you want to save a little bit of money there. But really, I'd be going for those 8 cores X3D chips for gaming. And if you're in productivity, right, I said you could maybe get by with this, but be careful with some of the crashing issues that are out there that Intel has to fix. Otherwise, it's the 16 cores from AMD right now that are, really your only options. It's been a rough time for reviewers here. We had the AMD reviews and they weren't all, you know, rosy, and now we have the Intel ones, which I thought for sure, like coming into these reviews and going to look at them, even though there was rumors of some, down stuff of, that lower your expectations a little bit. I'm like, for sure, Intel is not going to screw up as bad as what AMD just did. They have an opportunity here. They're going to be able to get these, reviews out and, under deliver on their promises and just make sure that they're going to have a pretty good launch with everything else. And then they had all of these issues. I'm going, oh, Intel, come on. You had an opportunity here. Just, yeah. And it's not what I expected. And while that is sad to me, where, I like to have a little bit of a benefit, I think that there's opportunity here with some refinements, maybe if they were to go and, how do I put this, jump, do a half step or something, do a refinement of these. They have an opportunity here to maybe, you know, really squeak out a solid win on the productivity side. But I don't see in gaming how they're going to be able to come close at all with the way AMD is sitting right now with the X3D chips. That's really just that the X3D chips are are just something else at this point. They really have a benefit of in gaming. So there's not much else I can talk about these processors on. It's right now it's a disappointment I think from Intel, and that would be the best way of putting it. And like I said, I see where they can maybe, this groundwork for the future to lay something. Of course, I said this with Zen 5 as well, right? I see where they're going with Zen 5. So you have this now, and where are they going to go next time? Now, there's some, listen to Hardware Unboxed, I listened to all three of their reviews, Gamers Nexus, went through Tech Power Up, listened to some other reviewers on this, Tech Yes City, I've been all over the place. Jay's 2 Cents, did Tech Yes City do one? I thought he did. Or yeah, I think Tech Yes City, Jay's 2, yeah. I've been listening to a lot of these reviews, trying to get as many numbers as possible. I wish I had one to test, but at this point, I'm not going to go spend the money just to test it. It's not something I want to spend the money on. But when you're looking at this and you're looking at the gaming scenarios and where it's all sitting up here, you see some of the disappointments on, it's not just the performance, it's everything else, with the crashing and the stability of in some scenarios. Now they have that, they have the clock driver in the memory. If you do the memory with the clock driver, I'm blanking on the name right now. It'll probably come to me once I get done with the video. And then you also have the DLVR, which is managing that voltage in the CPU. DeBauer was talking about that as well. He did some overclocking. He also had a nice long video if you're interested in doing direct die, which is pretty cool to watch as well. And while these are all interesting things, I feel like Intel here, or I think that Intel here needs to consider the prices. And I know that they might not be able to, but there is a point where all reviews become good because of price. And there is, I think that a lot of these companies think that they can extract more out of the consumer right now, and we're not in a great economy, and they think the products are better than what they are, so they're pricing them as that. When the reviews come and they're not there, they think that they can hold them. And we've already seen a lot of AMD's Ryzen 9000 series processors drop by $50. There's an opportunity that those maybe you can get a little bit cheaper, but Intel should do the same thing and move those prices down. And that's where these reviews will probably look a little bit better. And we'll see where the 9800 X3D sits. That will be an interesting review. Maybe AMD will be the one, 9800 X3D might be the one good review here this quarter. I'm not holding my breath on it, by the way. It's been bad reviews this quarter. I don't expect much from that, but there's an opportunity there. So um, I'm just a little disappointed on where we are at with these Intel processors now. Um, and I don't know where else to go. If you're looking for a machine, let me know. And let me know if you buy one and a lot of these problems are fixed. That's when, I'm hoping that there's reviews in a month from now when maybe these are all fixed. Now, it could be 6 months from now. We've seen recent issues that Intel had to deal with that took, 6 months to fix, and maybe that's it. And, in leadership inside Intel, hopefully what will happen here is that there's some correction in saying we need to get better at these areas so we can deliver on the promises we give to consumers. Now, I know that they had a Royal Core project that was canceled. If you read and listen to some of the rumors out there, and that was an interesting one with rentable units. They got rid of hyper-threading in this processor too on the performance cores, where these efficient cores seem to be actually pretty good at what they're capable of. I'm wondering if some of the gaming performance, while they want those 8 cores, I wonder if some of them are relying a little bit on the hyper-threading as well to fill that gap in, maybe to get a little bit better performance. I don't know. That's something we can't really test too much with processors without hyper-threading, but it was something, and since, or is it an architectural change? But it's hard to test, right, with processors that already operates well on, with the 14 and 13900K, or the AMD side of it things, because you don't have a architecture, really direct comparison to, or is it something on the tile? All this stuff is there that I have questions with. So it's something I hope that Intel is able to address, if not here, the next generation, and they get back on track, and we can have some nice generational leaps in performance, because we all like to see that, especially on the gaming side. So with that, let me know your thoughts below. I know I've been rambling here a little bit, but I really wanted a lot of good things to say about this, and they're just not there. Intel did not level up these processors over the 14th gen like I was hoping, and it just was another disappointing review, kind of like where AMD was at. Now, pricing can kind of solve a lot of that, and we'll see if that is adjusted. But leave it in the comments below what your thoughts are. I do want to thank you guys for watching and subscribing, hitting the bell icon, watching all my videos. I appreciate all that, and it really does help out the channel. And until next time, God bless.